Do you find that founders keep adding strategies instead of fixing what they already have in the pipeline?
Just because doing things is easy doesn't mean that you should. Take a look at your active pilot metrics. Are they moving with all of the effort that you're putting in? If not, then you probably need to stop doing what you're doing. Stop digging the hole deeper.
Can you help us understand your current revenues? Like what numbers are you looking at nowadays?
Cumulatively, I think Wednesday has done upwards of $6 million in revenue. I mean, at least in the last 3 to 4 years, we are on a run rate to pretty much compound at a good 20-30% year on year at this point. The idea of building software products as a wedge to build a community makes a lot of sense to me. What is the one activity that we can do that does not get affected with AI?
Welcome to Super Entrepreneurs Podcast. I'm your host, Shahid Durrani. Ali Hafizji is joining us today on the show. Hopefully I pronounced your name correctly. Is Hafizji?
Yeah, you got it right.
All right, good. Ali Hafizji. He's the founder of Wednesday, AI native product engineering company, which has worked with multiple unicorns. So I'm really excited to talk to him. Of course, welcome to our show, Ali.
Pleasure to be here.
Just to get the party started here and help people ground into this conversation. Mm-hmm. In the companies that you operate, can you share what level of growth you're on, your revenues as of today?
Yeah, sure. So I am actually I actually run 2 agencies. One is an agency, which is Wednesday, which is what you rightly pointed to. And Wednesday is an AI native product engineering services company. So think of us as the strategy, tech and design partner to fast-growing startups. I also run a web development and design agency. And then what I'm really here to talk to you about is something new that we're doing, which is what we're calling Traction. And Traction is something that we've been working on it since October of last year, but we launched officially pretty much 2 months ago. And Traction is actually an in-person experience that we've designed, which is primarily for seed and Series A founders. And the goal is to, help these teams get alignment so that they can work better together as a unit and achieve product market fit. Yeah, I'm excited to talk to you about that, and we can drill down on any aspect as you see fit.
Mm-hmm. So before we continue the conversation, can you help us understand your current revenues? Like what numbers are you looking at nowadays?
In the agency side of the business,
just overall in your life, like what are the revenues that you're playing around with nowadays?
Oh, okay. I mean, cumulatively, I think Wednesday has done upwards of, $6 million in revenue. I mean, at least in the last 3 to 4 years, we are on a run rate to pretty much compound at a good 20-30% year on year at this point. We're about 6 years old now, and the focus is to continue to build this in a very niche area. So we can, basically have expertise that clients want rather than be an agency that does everything, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. So have you seen a direct link between positioning and actual revenue growth when actually real numbers, when they change? Do you see a link with positioning and actual revenue growth?
100%. So I think the way that it works, in my experience, has been the first thing that happens is when you decide to focus, you change internally. So you get a lot of alignment in terms of who are you targeting, who are you selling to, what are you selling, how do you sell it, how do you market to this particular customer, how do you service? Because if what you do keeps changing, then it's very difficult to really build an organization of delivery. Once these things are well defined, you automatically start to showcase expertise. And that's when it starts affecting your revenue. So I've never really seen in the agency world, because it is a business of expertise at the end of the day, where if you just change your positioning, suddenly you start seeing sales. That never happens. If you change your positioning and you decide to focus, the team first realigns. And after a certain amount of time, when your practices are in place, when your portfolio is in place, things start to compound.
So it's the foundational structure that matters for the growth.
Yeah, and I think that's also true for maybe a B2B SaaS business, right? Like unless you niche down and figure out who your ICP is, it could be also the same for a B2C business, especially in the initial days when they're really focusing on one type of audience. I think that's just how businesses work. Customers will find you because you are you. You first need to identify that. And to showcase that, you need to build in internal systems and practices.
So when you talk about internal practices and tools, for example, are you using AI?
We do use a lot of AI. I think there's no question about it that you need to at this time and age. In fact, everything that we do is AI powered.
Okay.
The benefit of working with Wednesday is not. I don't see anybody hire Wednesday because of our development capabilities. Of course, we're really good with engineering, but I think people would want to work with us because of the outcomes that we achieve for them. So, for example, founders would typically work with Wednesday if they are stuck, if their product metrics aren't moving, even though they're doing everything. And we would help them sort of move from that growth level to the next one. Or a founder might come to us saying that, their users are constantly churning, but they have a retention problem. Or somebody would come to us saying that, they just can't seem to get a referral system working. These are the founders, these are the problems that people come to us with, and we basically help them achieve that outcome and move that metric. That's what we're known for.
Okay. So, a lot of business owners feel that they're obviously working hard, but they have this innate feeling that nothing is actually moving, even though it's moving, but they just feel, right? So when you look at a business like that, when they come to you, do you know if there's some area of their business that is the most common hiccup or barrier that is not allowing them to not feel that, for example, that the work that they're doing is actually achieving greater results that they expect consciously? But in your experience, when you look at that business, do you know what's really happening for them? That's a common attribute?
It's hard to say, because usually things are not universally common. There are different problems with different businesses, and truth be told, all of our customers are basically people who are building digital businesses. These are not like commerce businesses. These are basically digital products. So think of it as SaaS businesses primarily. So they're basically building a tool or a product that people would pay like a monthly subscription fee for, or let's say there might be another business model, let's say, for example, token-based or pay-as-you-go kind of a model. In these scenarios, I think founders know when they're stuck. They never have that feeling saying, I'm working too hard, but they never have this sort of understanding that where things are moving, but they think that they're not. Primarily because what you measure is very clear in terms of today's literature, especially for a digital product. So they know what to measure. They usually come to us when the metrics are not moving. It could be a launch that is done in a new country. They observed something else happen in somewhere, but it didn't happen here. Why? We don't know. We're doing everything that we could. We've learned these lessons, let's say launching in the US, we're trying another country, things are not moving, what's happening? Those are typically the problems that they come to us with.
Okay. Do you know do you find that founders keep adding strategies instead of fixing what they already have in the pipeline?
I think that's a very common problem, especially today when, just because of AI, people feel like they should do everything. And I think that just because doing things is easy doesn't mean that you should. Which is why people. So I have this thinking that AI makes you like like it gives you superpowers. And when you're able to do so much, you feel like you should actually do so much. Which means you're constantly creating new strategies and new things to do. But the real world doesn't work at a pace at which AI responds to you. Certain things do take time to play out, and you should allow them to play out, and you should learn from the things that you're doing and improve. We typically say that whatever you start off with is never what is actually going to work 100%. It needs to evolve, and you need to have the idea of evolution and not revolution. You need to stick to one thing and evolve with it as you learn from your early customers and people who sort of become champions of whatever you offer, whether it's a product or a service, rather than constantly trying to restart and do the 0 to 1 again and again.
Yeah. So with AI, the FOMO has amplified even further.
100%. I think a lot of the founders that we work with, it's not just FOMO, it's also a lot of the build versus buy decisions where founders now want to build everything in-house, whereas earlier they would have just bought another product that they could consume and build on top of. There's a lot of this happening right now. And I think you need to make decisions not on the basis of what you can do, but on the basis of what will help you succeed as a business. So people need to stop thinking of themselves as, the problem with our industry is most of the founders that we work with come from a tech background. And if you come from a tech background, the first thing that you do is you know that you can do it. So you think that it's always easy. But the minute you decide to start a business, you have actually chosen for yourself to leave that tech part of you behind and become an entrepreneur. And when you choose that for yourself, you need to actually think and make decisions like an entrepreneur.
Yeah, it's true. And that brings me to another question. In your experience, do you feel that more content actually is helping businesses or is just creating more noise? Because that's one of the things that people go to first, is to get their message out more, create more content. So I'd just love to hear from your experience.
I think that the literature around what to do has been pretty much spoken about in every shape or form, whether it's a podcast, a book, a blog, I don't know. Even if you chat with, an AI, pick the tool, it'll probably tell you the right things to do. It's very difficult to do it in today's day. We are in an era of abundance. There is abundance of information. There is abundance of everything. The ones who will win are the ones who actually do. And do one thing and do that really well for a specific type of persona user. And it's very hard to do. I'm asking people to do less, do it well, do it for one type of user. You can't change things around you. We are and like I said, in an era of abundance. There's a lot of information. There's nothing you can do about it. But these are certain human behaviors that can be sort of trained.
So there is such a thing as too much content.
100%. There's such a thing as too much of everything. And this is one of the primary reasons why companies like Wednesday exist. It's because when founders are overwhelmed by doing too much and things not moving, that's when we come in and say, stop, because their team is not going to tell them. Most teams are actually saying things that the founder wants to hear. When you have an external person like us say, stop, don't do that, do one thing, right? This is what seems to be working for you, just do that. Things change.
So can you share a most common use case when a company comes to you for help? What are they suffering from usually?
Most of them are, I think, like I said, there's never I don't think there's a universally common pattern that I've seen, but one that I've seen happen most is the customer acquisition cost is extremely high. So people are talking about, they're spending money left, right, and center on n number of GTM channels, be it socials, paid, partnerships, newsletters, events, networking. They're doing everything. But they've not really figured out who they need to sell to, and the litmus test for that is what we've realized. The best way to actually judge whether you have this problem is to actually see the case studies that you have. Whether you offer a product or a service, if you have case studies that all look the same, they have to be the same. Person came to me with this problem, I did this, this is what happened for him or her. It has to be the exact same. Until that happens, you should not spend any money on any marketing or outreach or any channel, because you haven't really figured out or got any kind of real business. So you want to have like a factory of case studies where every case study looks the same. If things are different, even between 2 case studies or 3 or 4, that means you've not really figured out, something unique to offer.
And that's what you do with your clients too. You collect case studies.
Yeah, it's definitely one way of figuring out if the strategy that they have is right or wrong. If you look, if let's say somebody comes to us and we have like an entire onboarding process, we ask them these questions if they have that information. It tells you a lot about where they are in their journey, and you'll be surprised to see, many of these guys have actually raised large sums of money, but they don't really have these case studies in place. In fact, many of their users don't even look like each other. So we ask these questions, we figure out where they are, and we figure out, sometimes we have to experiment. Sometimes we know who the person is and we just have to tell them, don't do this or stop doing this. It's not making sense. It's different for different
What's the
people,
most common?
We do see this happen. I think the most common is this, exactly what you said. It's like trying to achieve everything because people are, I think at this point, impatient. Things do take time. The world doesn't work at a pace at which we want it to. And I think
patience is the key word.
Yeah, patience is key.
From your experience, from your life, from being an entrepreneur, launching successful businesses, and someone out there is listening or watching and feels stuck right now, what's the first thing they should remove from their life, or immediately what they should deduct from their life to start getting the momentum going?
My sense on this is, I'll just speak directly to my audience, which is founders. I think we put a lot of self-imposed pressure on ourselves. To sort of be something, to achieve something by this specific timeline. And I think the first thing that you need to do is just let go of that. Wherever you are right now, just be grateful for where you are. I think that's a good starting point. Let go of all of the expectations, goals, timelines that you've set on yourself. And then just think clearly. I would say that, just start off trying to figure out if whatever you're doing right now, is it moving any of your product metrics? And the product metrics that we track are the pirate metrics, which is true for any digital product, which is, it's very well written. It's basically, activation, retention, revenue, referral, etc. Take a look at your active pirate metrics. Are they moving with all of the effort that you're putting in? If not, then you probably need to stop doing what you're doing. Whatever it is that you're doing, whether you're spending all your time on marketing channels, trying to chase after a certain type of user, whatever you're doing, if things are not moving, stop digging the hole deeper. And try and move into doing a few experiments and see what actually works. Try and find market pull. Try and find where the demand is, rather than trying to force the world to buy what you have to offer. It doesn't work.
What I found is the overthinking aspect of it is also one of the largest barriers in founders or anybody, right? Especially in business. We were so accustomed to overthinking from our childhood that it continuously running in our awareness that holds people back, or we tend to make many different decisions that may hinder our growth as well. There's obviously the thinking is recycled many times. So I find that being more calm and being more grounded and asking within and seeing those decisions and making decisions from a more calmer place is more productive, I feel, too.
That makes sense. And I think overthinking would result in inaction. So if you're a founder who's probably stuck because you're just constantly thinking, what should I do? Because if I do this, this will happen. You're just constantly thinking of the domino effect.
The story keeps playing. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Then I think I truly, truly believe that if this is who you are, if this is what your current scenario is, just get help.
Good advice.
There are enough avenues. Probably just ask within your network if they know somebody who's actually got the experience of taking a business from wherever you are to where you want to be. Get a mentor, get a coach. If you have an investor, talk to them. If there is an agency that the investor suggests, or if you find it through your network, work with them. Just give it a shot. You have nothing to lose.
Important.
I think that just having somebody external helps. I know for sure that, coaches, consultants, mentors, they've helped. I mean, they may have like a small part to play. Maybe just an hour with them might really get you a lot of perspective.
It's so important what you just said, Ali, is that having that third person view or having another human being look at your situation, it makes a huge difference. You can even play that with yourself just to look at situations from another person's energy or another person's presence. What would they do? That even also helps so much. But like you said, mentors in different areas of where you want to go in your business, to get that help is not weakness. It's actually strength, because you're so serious about creating that growth that you're know where the weakness is and you want to, get help with it, and then empower the strengths, because we all have strengths. Put more energy into strengths, get help where the weaknesses are. And I find that the foundationally of making what we do successful or even going into a growth trajectory is our inner world, the commentary that's going on within. Looking at that, being aware of that is super important to make changes in our identity for that success, right? So how can someone test if their positioning is actually clear, not just in their head, but in the actual market? Is there a test they can do?
Yeah, so I think we pay too much attention to positioning, copy, marketing, website, all of these things. But if you follow the process of actually finding product market fit, and you take my advice on create a case study factory, I can guarantee you that if you're out to create a case study of a repeatable problem that people come to you with, that you solve, and they go away having a certain outcome, whatever that may be. Let's say, for example, somebody comes to us saying, let's say the product that I offer is to accountants, and I help them close books faster than...
Can you talk about the most common one? Sorry, Ali. Can you give the example of the most common one that comes into your world?
I think in terms of positioning, yeah. So I think what I would suggest is if you have that case study factory, you will know what to say, because you've sold to the same person enough number of times, and they've told you things enough number of times about what you have to offer, which will tell you how to position, what to say, what your copy should be. Otherwise, no matter what you have, you are just guessing. Unless and until you have actually got a case study factory where you actually sold like the same thing to 15 people, You've heard what they have to say. They've actually got the same result. They give you a testimonial, and you'll notice that even in the testimonial, they start using similar words. That is your positioning.
Yeah.
It's as simple as that.
Yeah, that's good, Ali. That's wonderful. Thank you so much for sharing that. So what's something that you believed about business earlier on that that you had to completely unlearn?
Well, I'm an engineer by profession, right? So I've actually built software systems for like a decade. And I thought that I did that for like a good part of my career. When I started doing startups and building businesses, I think what I sort of didn't think of much is the actual importance of having, like, the meaning of having a good team, and what that does to a business. And I think that is something that founders, especially people who come from knowledge areas like, let's say, engineering or design or product management, don't really fully comprehend. So a good team is one in which you would actually completely delegate certain functions to, and you know for sure that it is actually done far better than you. So, for example, and it doesn't need to be a team of 200 people. It needs to be a really small team, or it could be a big team. It depends on who you are as a person. But if somebody else is in charge of marketing and sales, nobody can do it better than them. And you would completely delegate that function to them. And you would just have this implicit trust and communication among the two of you, where each one is going to own their pillar. And each one understands how to change their function to help the combined business grow in the direction that is set. And the power of just having that by your side is insane. No matter how, and I think that one of the things that we keep thinking about over here on Wednesday is, what is the one activity that we can do that does not get affected with AI? So as AI gets smarter, as it starts doing more things, what is it that we can do so that, as a company, it doesn't affect us? And one of my core beliefs is actually building a great team. If you have that by your side, irrespective of how fast it goes, you will automatically change. AI is as good as the person using it. Remember that.
Yeah. It amplifies the person.
It amplifies the person. It can also amplify the team, by the way.
Yeah. Having a team that you can rely on, knowing that the task will be completed exactly how it should be based on their experience. It removes a lot of stress from you as well. It allows you to be more creative, right? It allows you to
100%.
make bigger decisions. So it was great talking to you, Ali. It was wonderful. Oh, one last question that people love to hear. Sure. Give us, as of today, give us your top 5 businesses that you will launch. If all of this you didn't have as of today, what would you launch? What would be the top 5 businesses you will launch to generate income?
Wow. Okay. So
it doesn't have to be top 5. Like, you could give me whatever, right? Whatever. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm not going to, I'm a pure believer in like focusing on one thing. So here's something that I've been toying with for a very long time in my mind.
Okay, good.
Focusing on Wednesday. So I think that the idea of building software products as a wedge to build a community makes a lot of sense to me. Yeah. So, for example, there are many people who are creating content, and what they do is they turn their subscribers into revenue by creating a community that people pay a monthly fee to be a part of. Let's say a school community or a Slack community, but it's paid. What I'm saying is, instead of creating content to attract those people, create tools to attract those people. Software and build tools. SaaS tools. So build SaaS tools, which you can only get if you join this community. So let's say I build, the equivalent of Calendly, some kind of, email marketing tools. And these are only available to the people who join this community. And the fee to join this community is far lesser than buying these tools individually. So there is an added advantage. You get all of these tools, and you reduce your SaaS cost. Plus, you get to be with a group of people who actually do the same thing that you do. So it has to be restricted. It cannot be open to all. So you need to like sort of add a few gatekeeping.
That's a great idea. So now we know what Ali is going to be doing next.
Oh, hell yeah. If you know somebody who's... yeah.
No, that's great, brother. It was so wonderful speaking to you, Ali. Thank you so much for your time, your energy here today, your presence, and helping others grow. Definitely, audience, check out his work, his platforms, and appreciate you for coming today.
No, thanks. It was great having this conversation.